right?
Yeah, I was going to say I always go with Muhammad Ali with mine. I'd love to pick that guy's brain, and I've never had the luxury to hang out with Gretzky, but that would be my hockey one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And describe winning the first cup and your feelings going through that.
97, was obviously, something real special. When you think about what the core team of the Detroit Red Wings went through, we already talked about, losing to San Jose in 94, 95, we get to the Stanley Cup finals. We got swept by New Jersey. 96, at the time, we set the record for the most wins in the National Hockey League with 62 wins. And then we ended up losing to Colorado in the conference finals. So, there was a lot of doubt, that people with the Detroit Red Wings, we were too European, we were too small, we weren't tough enough. Obviously, probably one of the biggest trades that we ended up making was bringing in, Brendan Shanahan. I think he just he was exactly what we needed, a player that obviously if you wanted a junkyard dog game, he was right in the mix and he was going to fight. If you wanted to run and gun, Shanny could do that as well. And he really just kind of, came in and into our top six and brought that, physical presence along with, Darren McCarty, along with Marty Lapointe. We ended up bringing Joe Koser in. So you think about, we're a pretty tough team too. And when you look at how Colorado was, we needed something like that because obviously they kind of had everything that we had as well. Hall of Famers, grinders, toughness. It was such a evenly matched, teams. And, so that was the big series, the conference finals. I think, I can't speak for their psyche and their mindset, but, we were thinking if we could win the West, then we were going to have a real good chance to win the Stanley Cup. That was really the mindset. And then, we ended up doing that. And then, going into Philadelphia, we opened up on the road in Philly. And, you just remember on the media days, everyone was talking about, obviously, Eric Lindros and the Legion of Doom. And, they were bigger, tougher, meaner. And the Detroit Red Wings were too European and not a lot of people, were really giving us a chance. And, we went in there and ended up taking the first two games and we went to sweep them. And, obviously one's game 3 and 4 in Detroit. Absolutely incredible feeling, just to be able to do that, to win that, at the Joe, and you just think of everything, that we had been through. And now here we are, Stanley Cup champions. So it was an incredible run. I'm fortunate. I have 3 amazing kids, 2 daughters and a son. Those are obviously to me the greatest things that I've been able to do to become a dad. And watch them grow up. But hockey-wise, winning the Stanley Cup in 97 and being fortunate to win 3 more after that is by far the greatest thing that any hockey player could ever do. And it was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that Red Wings dynasty was so much fun to watch. You guys were so much fun. That grind line, Darren McCarty, Maltby, yourself, tons and tons of fun hockey. I loved watching that. We had McCarty on here too, and he's a beauty as well.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Mike?
Yeah. Then the next one I was going to go with any nicknames or rituals.
Nicknames, Nails was one of them. It was actually, I was a big Lenny Dykstra fan. And, he had, I remember seeing him on his cleats. He actually had nails on his cleats. And I kind of, Mac, all of a sudden, we were rooming together and I was like, does that say nails? And he's like, yeah. I was like, wow, I like that. And then, I kind of encouraged Mac to call me Nails to see if it would catch, and it actually did. So that was one of the nicknames that I had kind of 97 through my playing career. And then, obviously, Drapes was, the obvious one. So those would probably be the 2 nicknames that I went, for the majority of my career. Rituals, pretty superstitious, I must admit, kind of throughout my career. Getting dressed, I'd always put, my left, if it was my shin pad skate, whatever it might be, elbow pad, it would always be left side than right side. I would always do that. It was just something that, I started doing in Detroit and then certainly wasn't going to change anything up. Always take my stick after every period. Wanted to do that. Laces, I was kind of finicky with my laces. I wanted to make sure that they kind of lay flat. When I was tying my skates, it was something that I really paid attention to on that. And then it was, my pregame warm-up would have been really structured time-wise. We played two-touch soccer for a bit. I'd have an active warm-up. I'd kind of get a little bit of leg rub, and it was actually timed like perfectly of how this was going to work. So like I said, there was a lot of superstitions going in. Come playoff time, it was tough to keep everything, the way it had to be on game day. And if we lost, then I would switch it up. Sometimes it'd be the way I drive to the rink. I might change it up, you name it. There was little things that I would always do. Park in the same spot at Joe Louis Arena, those kind of things. So it was, I was a pretty superstitious hockey player, and along with routines as well.
And then coming off Detroit's first cup in 40 years and second straight trip to the finals, what was your motivation that second year? And then take us back to game 2 where Tikkanen missed that breakaway and you ended up scoring the winning goal.
Yeah, 98 was, obviously it was a very emotional year for our team. Obviously we had the accident, 6 days after we won the Stanley Cup with Vladdy, Sergey, and our trainer, Manatsakanov. We always called him Natsa. And that was pretty tough, for how that summer went. And then certainly coming back, into training camp and not having, Vladdy with us. We started the season with obviously heavy hearts. It was, every time we walked in the dressing room, Vladdy's gear was hanging up there. Pretty well everyone when they walked in would always kind of go right by Vladdy's gear and his jersey would be hanging and kind of touch his jersey kind of thing. But that, that was the drive, and basically, why we wanted to win this. We made it well known that, we wanted to win the Stanley Cup for Vladdy. It was something that, meant a lot to us. Vladdy, unbelievable. What an absolute warrior, he was on the ice. And so, going into the season and then certainly going into the playoffs, we were playing with a heavy heart and obviously everything was, dedicated to Vladdy. We actually were given, permission to wear a patch on our jerseys to remind us every single game and every single time we skated. We had a sticker on our helmet and we had basically just one word. It was believe, with Vladdy's, number on it. And it was something that, we certainly always, we always thought of Vladdy. So, going into 98, we ended up, coming in and we ended up, going to, play Washington in the Stanley Cup finals. We opened up at home. And as you said, game 2, we were down, I think it was 5-2 at the time. Esa Tikkanen had, came in, he made a heck of a move and the puck just kind of rolled off his stick and didn't go in. Probably the break that we needed. And we mounted, third period comeback. I remember Doug Brown scored the tying goal, late in the third period to tie it up. And then, for me, it was, the biggest and greatest goal that I ever scored in my career. Game 2, double overtime, goal to put us up 2-0. And, you're watching it right now. And come playoff time, and especially in the Stanley Cup finals, being up, 2-0 in the way that we came back, being down 5-2 and winning that game. And then obviously going into Washington to win games 3 and 4, but, 1-1, who knows what happens, on that one. But it's a goal in a moment that I'll absolutely, never forget. I came, Igor, Shanny and Marty Lapointe were on the ice. Igor came and changed. And I remember, Shanny and Marty Lapointe were kind of cycling the puck on the far side, and I kind of came off and no one really saw me come on a line change for Igor. And I just kind of came like right down the slot between the hash marks and just yelling at Marty, to make a pass. And being a right-handed shot, he was able to pull it off the wall and passed it over, and I was able to one touch it past, Kolzig for the win. And, like I said, pretty nice little celebration dance afterwards.
Oh yeah.
And, those are, to this day, you start talking about it, just puts a smile on your face, remembering something like that.
Is that your favorite goal?
By far. Yes.
Okay.